Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, January 5th, 2026, and you are looking live at Central West Virginia. I am your host, Tim Koger, on this podcast. It's new every morning because it is new every morning. God's love is new every morning. And I got up this morning, and His love was still there, and I love it. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. For you morning warriors that are along with me at 7:30, good morning. I've got some interesting stories today. Once again, it is new every morning. It's a little overcast here in Central West Virginia. I still have some snow on the ground, even though yesterday it was warm. I know some people do, and some people do not have snow on the ground. Good morning, Sue. Nice to have you along. I know that it's supposed to get warmer this week, so here anyway. And so the snow will be gone. It's just a matter of time. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But we do have snow on the ground still here in the farmlands of Central West Virginia where I live. So good morning, everyone. I hope you're ready for another week. This is really the first week after holiday, is what I would describe it, where everybody is getting back to their normal routine. Schools are back if they weren't back last week any. People are going back to work that haven't been there consistently for a week. So this week you may actually have to work 5 days in a row. Can you imagine? My goodness, how difficult that will be for some people. But anyway, of course, some people it's difficult for every week. But of course, there's other people that work different shifts and all that kind of thing. So anyway, good morning to everyone that's here at 7:30. This is my 50th podcast. Yeah, 50. I'm going to work on making some changes. I'm not sure what changes I'm going to make yet. And a wise person once told me that if you're not sure what to do, don't do anything until you're sure. And I'm not sure, so I am probably gonna make some changes. I'm looking at maybe not doing this every day. Maybe Monday and Friday through the week. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Feel free to comment. I could possibly keep doing it every day, Monday through Friday. If I do that, I'm going to have to come up with some revenue streams. I know there are some on Facebook. I don't know much about them. I know there's some kind of stars you can do, and I don't know. I do have a Facebook page called It's New Every Morning. I can't go live on there yet because it's not been up long enough. I have to have it up, I think 60 days and have 100 followers. I don't think I've reached either one of those. So if you're out there and you'd like to help me out, go to It's New Every Morning on Facebook and become a follower. And because I am going to eventually, if I continue to do this 5 days a week, I will move it to that Facebook page when it's available. So anyway, with that, that's all the basic news we have to do today and catch up on everything. I'm really looking forward to this week. This is the first real week of what I consider, the real winter. Through December we get winter weather, but the holidays are coming and this and that. But the holidays are over. This is the first day of the first week that we get into winter, and boy, am I looking forward to spring. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am. And January and February are probably my least favorite months of the year because the weather's bad. There's not a lot going on. Yeah, there's still football going on, the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff, and that's good. That's fine. But I don't know. I just I'm ready for March. I'm ready for warmer March days. Not warm, but warmer than what we're going to see in the wintertime. But until then, I'm going to enjoy January and February. I hope you will too. So let's get started. My first story, which I absolutely love. I don't know if you will. It's kind of a history type story. But so where did the 24-hour news cycle start? Today, you can get news anytime. Absolutely anytime you can find news. Some of it on TV. Well, on TV you can find it. on the internet. You can find it. It's always going on. Now, some people will tell you that it started with CNN because they started a 24-hour news channel. Gosh, I don't even know when, in the 80s sometime. I don't know. Somebody out there might know, but I don't. But anyway, it was actually much earlier than that. So I'm going to take you down a little history story. And I don't know how much of this you know. There was some of this I didn't know, but I want to fill you in. So President Garfield, James Garfield, was shot on July 2nd, 1881. He was in the process of boarding a train to leave D.C. He was getting off a coach and doing that. Good morning, Deborah. And he was getting ready to get on. Anyway, he was 49 years old, a strong, powerful man, big, bright blue eyes. He was destined to be one of the greatest presidents of our time. He was a lot like Lincoln in some ways. He was forward thinking. He was he believed in helping the black people, which was not always popular at that time, but he was a very popular president. He was very popular when he was elected. And like Kennedy, he was charming. He was a great speaker, orator, I would say. He had celebrity status. He was like, kind of like Kennedy had. He was kind of like a celebrity president. Well, like both of those men, Garfield also found himself shot by an assassin bullet. Now, he was treated for his wounds and cared for at the White House. Now, remember, this is like a long time ago, all right? 1881, all right? So this is a long time ago. By then, the telegraph had been happening. It started, I don't know, it was spread all the way through, even during the Civil War, and certainly after the Civil War, and it was all over the country. And the Associated Press, which was also around then, pooled all the resources to share telegraph news. So telegraphs went all over the country. And the public, once he got shot, because he didn't pass away, he just got shot, was seeking updates on the president's condition. Obviously, it's the president of the United States. They want to know how he's doing. So they wanted to receive regular, early, fast information. And so the news cycle kind of began. Here's a few of the things that came out. So he got shot on July 2nd. Okay, so on July 7th, they said, hey, he was cheerful. That was one of the messages that went out. On July 17th, he was eating solid food. The 29th, it came out he was comfortable and cheery. Had a pleasant nap on July 31st. So when Garfield had an operation near the bullet hole, doctors informed the public on July 24th. Okay, because they were convinced that the bullet in him was the problem. It wasn't the problem. Bullet could have stayed there, but they probably infected him by trying to get it out over and over. There were reports how well he slept, how he ate, his mood, all these things. There was nothing too dull for the American people. They wanted to hear about their president. It became really, Garfield became like a public obsession. Everybody wanted to know about Garfield. And it kind of defined that stuff going on, where news was going. So in early September, Garfield wanted to be moved to New Jersey shore to be closer to the sea. He loved the sea. He grew up in Ohio, but he loved the sea, and he loved being there. And so they moved him actually from the White House to New Jersey shore. Now, when that happened, crowds lined the pathway of the train. I mean, bulletins, it was crazy, and of course, once he got there, that came out, he was eating well, but then, he had a cough, but then it got better, September 12th. But by the September 16th, his pulse was starting to fluctuate at night. By the 18th, he had severe chills, lasting an hour, quick weeks, because he was infected, and they had infected him probably because they didn't know any better. So then the next day, September 19th, 11:30 p.m., the message came out. The president died at 10:35 p.m. It was only weeks shy of his 50th birthday. James Garfield, the President of the United States, was dead. And he had battled, infection probably for the whole time. The crowd surely wanted to know how he died. The bulletins provided an answer. Severe pain above the region of the heart. So his body was, laying in bed. I mean, there's all this kind of information still coming out. For 79 days, the country was just devouring all these telegraphs. And what did they do? It basically laid the groundwork for what we know today as the compulsive media, 24 hours, 7 days a week news. At least that's the way I see it, and that's the way many people see it. So that's your history lesson for today. Next story is about NASA. Guess what may be coming in our lifetime? Houses on the moon. Yeah. Olympus is a NASA funded project by construction tech company Icon, which seeks to create human supporting infrastructure on the moon, including roads, landing pads, and eventually people. People may happen in our lifetime. People living on the moon. We've joked about that forever, but it might actually happen. So we'll see. We'll follow that story. Now, next story is about parents that are going broke over their kids' obsession. And it's really serious stuff. Going broke over an obsession of their kids. What is it? Sushi. Sushi. I said it wrong. I'm sorry. I have a dog named Sochi. Anyway, Sushi. Yes. Grace Elmberry says that her worst financial decision was introducing her kids to sushi. She's kind of joking when she says that, but, and this is her quote. They are like savages. They just want to eat it all. Now, she started feeding them, sushi because it was easy, convenient, quick, but now she regrets because she has turned her children into food snobs. Food snobs. And of course, another thing she said, she goes, sometimes I like say to them, how about chicken nuggets or grilled cheese? They're not interested. They have been ruined. Now the chefs say, the sushi chefs say, good morning, sweetheart. They say they figured out how to get kids to eat sushi. They said, not just kids, but everybody. And a quote, this is a quote from one of the chefs. The more sugar we put in the rice, the more people will eat it. Amazing. So they load up the rice with sugar, and people love it. Now, sushi is in retail locations is growing to a $2.9 billion business as of November 25. So, of course, we don't have December numbers. $2.9 billion and it's retail locations. The reason it's been able to grow in retail locations is because, of some of the things that they've been able to do with food. So that now it's sold in supermarkets and everything, and that's when it really exploded, I think. So here's a couple other quotes from her. Anyway, she said, it's an adult food, so maybe it makes them feel grown up. Or it may be the sugar. It has become, as she says, she has become like chicken fingers, which I guess apparently her kids loved, before she introduced them to this evil food. Just kidding, not evil. Finding something they'll eat and not complain about it. That's a quote from her. So she said, yes, I guess it's a win. So I don't know if your kids are there, but if not, you might want to keep them off a little bit. It's good for your finances. All right. My next story is about the healing power of pups. At Logan Correctional Center, I think this is in Massachusetts, the largest woman's in Illinois, largest woman's state prison in Illinois, 40 inmates participate in an activity that helps others as much as themselves. They're training service dogs, okay, in this facility. Now, it's called PAWS, a partnership between the Illinois correctional industry and a couple nonprofits, and they teach pups the skills they need to serve as, like mobile assistants, emotional, support dogs, things like that. And this is Bacana Solis said, this is a couple quotes from her, and she is an inmate. Okay, so this is not people running it. This is somebody that's participating in it. She said the prison the prison system is not a nice place. That's what she said. But this is the quote that I like. Understanding that these dogs have the power to heal a person like me, I knew immediately the power they had to help a person on the outside world. So by what it had done for her in the prison system, she knew that by sharing this, by training these, they would help people outside. So it's healed her in the prison system. Sounds like a pretty good system. All right, so this is my last story. What can a sense of purpose do for you? Do you have a sense of purpose? What can it do for you? How about make your life longer? Yeah. Apparently, from research, it helps you sleep better. It helps protect you against anxiety and depression. It lowers your risk of heart disease and dementia by having a sense of purpose. Now, according to the Wealth research in the field of behavioral medicine, that's what you can get, those things. And Susie Welch is director of New York University's Initiative and Purpose and Flourishing Division. And contrary to what many people believe, discovering your purpose isn't always like, spotting it like a shining star, like it's wow, big and bodacious. Here's a quote from her. The biggest misconception is that what that life actually looks like is going to dawn on you spontaneously, and it doesn't. So your life purpose was not going to be like a flashing light with, like a big neon light saying, this is your purpose, this is your purpose. That's what she's saying. And I agree with that. It takes work. It takes work to find your purpose. Or as a Christian, it might take prayer to find your purpose. But your purpose is out there. So don't worry. Your calling, your calling, whatever it might be, your purpose, your calling, it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be like curing cancer. Although if you do that, thank you. It can be something, very personal to you. Because your purpose in life is going to touch other people. It's going to be good for other people. That your purpose in life will be good for other people. But it will also be good for you, as demonstrated in this beginning. It'll be much healthier for you to have purpose. So find your purpose if you don't know what your purpose is. And your purpose can change. It doesn't have to be the same purpose your entire life. Some people think it does. That's okay. I don't think it does. I think your purpose can change. In other words, in some cases, your purpose can be completed. And when that happens, another purpose will come along. So if you don't know your purpose this morning, think about it some. If you're a Christian, pray about it some. Create a purpose. It's not too young. You're not too young or 2 year old or not too old to find your purpose. And it'll be good for you health-wise, but it will also be great for the people that you touch with your purpose. So with that, have a great Monday. I think the sun's supposed to shine today in Central West Virginia. And we'll see you tomorrow morning as I still work through what exactly I'm going to do with this silly podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. Please share it with people. Let's grow the group, and I will see you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Bye-bye.